Well, good morning. I'm going to get right to it. I previously had made a video, but I set something up wrong, and now I got to remake it because I'm speaking from the heart. So hopefully, I get the message across correctly. Um, as I previously told you, I had a carpet cleaning business, and I had a customer, and she was a customer of mine, and I went. She called me to come clean their carpet because there were blood stains on the carpet, and when I got there, um, I saw her husband's face was beat up, and she was laying on the sofa and she was bragging to me how her husband got out of line, so she had beat him up, and she was bragging about it and laughing while he was standing over there in the corner. I saw him, and he had a look of shame on his face. He had nothing to be ashamed of, but he was ashamed. And like I told you, that woman was like 60 pounds wet. And as I said before, that husband, he was a special forces soldier, strong and built and in his prime. He could have split her in half like a pencil in 2 seconds or less. But, I know I could tell out of fear, they had children. So out of fear, I know he just took the beating. And like I told you before, that's unnecessary. That was unnecessary. He could have gotten help, but I know the situation. I understand. I sympathize with him. He had children, so I'm sure he was scared of never being able to see his children again, or something or having his career ruined, or something along that line. But I'm here to tell you, if you're in a situation where somebody is mistreating you, and putting their hands on you, there's never an excuse for that. You need to leave. You need to find help. There are many options for help available. It's not your fault. No matter what, nobody deserves to have their hands put on by someone else, especially from someone they're expecting to love them. If they're putting their hands on you, that's not love, and it's just going to get worse. I promise you. I know that from witnessing it, you know, on others, and it never gets better. Leave. And if not for yourself, for your children, because they see this and they think that's how it's supposed to be. Like I said, I've witnessed it from loved ones, and who did not grow up with me. And when I went to go visit them, I would see that the woman was getting beat up, and when they grew up, they thought that's how you were supposed to beat up women. So don't let that happen to you, okay? Um, it's very heartbreaking to see. Uh, Very heartbreaking. I'm pausing because, like I said, this subject really touches my heart. Abuse, you know, it's a horrible thing that occurs. Men and women, as I told you the story about the carpet and the women, someone very close to me who I did not grow up with, unfortunately, or fortunately, because I did a little better growing up with my grandmother. But when I would go visit this person and my brothers, you know, the person she was with, the guy she was with, was a real scumbag, and he used to beat her regularly. And when my brothers grew up, they saw this and they thought that's what they were supposed to do. So like I said, when subjects like this matter, really touched my heart. And he was a scumbag. He really is a scumbag, and always has been and always will be. To this day, he's a slime ball. You know, he was cruel to me and my brothers sometimes, but he knew better than to lay hands on me, because my grandmother would have made sure that he was put in a hole in the desert somewhere. He's a real coward. But anyway, let me get off that subject. What I want to talk to you about is today for some reason, I got this uh, page popped up on my YouTube, and it was this woman. I clicked on it out of curiosity, and it was this woman, and She has a large following, well, semi-large anyway. And this woman was going on. She started off. She was talking about her page is based on how to become a trophy wife, basically, and how to catch a rich man. And she has one, and they've been married for a short period of time. And she already had children, and they married the children. I mean, she married, got married, and everything. But the thing that hit me was now the marriage is going south. So what she has done is she has made a post, and the post is pretty evil in my personal opinion. And the reason I label it as evil is because of this. Because she starts off and she's talking about how she gave her 4-year-old daughter, she was giving her a bath or something along that line. And she said she saw something red. She saw red down there. So first thing that came to her mind, she asked her daughter, "Who's doing this to you?" And the daughter supposedly said, "Daddy." Now, if it's true, it's horrible. But I'm telling you, I'm 53 years old, and this young woman is very young. I'm telling you, I'm very suspect of it. And the reason is because all of you that are all parents out there, and I'm a parent of 5. You don't even have to be a parent. You know, you just been around children now. You know, children, all children, most children get something red down there from time to time. In most of the cases, the first thing that comes to our mind, okay, I need to put baby powder down there. They got diaper rash or a baby rash, something along that. That's the normal thing. That's what normally that's what happens. 100% of the time, that's the first thing that comes to a parent's mind is they're chafing, they got diaper rash, or I need to use a better brand of diaper, maybe use more baby powder, the different brand, or they have an allergic reaction. That's most of the time, 100% of the time, that's what happens with normal parents. But for her, no, she didn't do that. First thing that comes to her mind is, who's doing this to you? So that's suspect. And then the second thing is, she's going on about this story, and she's supposedly crying, and she's motioning with the tissue like this, but there's not 1 ounce of tears coming from her eyes. So, as parents, if something like that is happening to our child, first thing, we're not going to come on YouTube. First thing we're going to do is put that fracker in jail. We call them police ASAP. If, we're not going to harm that person ourselves first, we're going to get the law involved. So, and, but like I said, she's on YouTube, she's crying and stuff like that. And from another person I watch, it clicked in my mind. They said she's preparing for the divorce, because this is normally what happens in a divorce, unfortunately, especially a nasty divorce, is the female tries to, if there's children there, the female tries to accuse the male of something along this matter. And it's unfortunate because there are, people that go through abuse out in this world. And it irks me when you see people using it just for personal gain. And the saddest part about this, all of this is, one, the stepfather, when she tries to get her divorce, he'll have to go through the motions and he'll be proven innocent. But there's always that stain. Once you get accused of it, there's a stain, especially for men. There's a stain. But the second thing and the most saddest part is that 4-year-old girl, her mother's going to try to convince her that this actually happened. And even though the daughter will go through psychiatric treatment, get treatment, and more than likely I'll find out that this probably didn't happen. There's 99.5% chance that this didn't happen. And what's going to happen is this girl's going to believe it. Her mother's going to convince her that it has happened. And so this is going to affect this young woman. This potentially, she's only 4, but when she grows up, it's going to affect her for the rest of her life. Even though it never happened, she's going to believe it, and she's going to probably have to go through therapy and counseling. And when it comes to people trying to date her and stuff like that, she's probably going to get them all kinds of problems. And, her life is going to be miserable just because this woman in her selfish ways, wants to get at her potential ex-spouse. And that's sad. That's abuse in itself. And that's the sad part. And like I said, it's really horrible when people use stuff like this for personal gain, because there are people in this world that truly suffer and have a hard time and have to go through things. And then later on, they have to live life and figure out how to live life after they've been through undescribable hell. And this, when I see people like this that use it just for personal gain, it's disgusting. And hopefully, you know, now I know, thankfully, now we have a system in place to where it's investigated further. They have data. They have ways of pulling the truth out. It's not just in the female's favor like it used to be. Fortunately, we're learning as time goes on. We're learning to balance things out better. So I have full faith that the potential ex-spouse, the husband, he'll be vindicated. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't happen. Believe me, like I told you, with my brother, I know, well, not my brothers, but I know that form of abuse happens: physical abuse, abuse of the private part, sexual abuse, all kinds of abuse, mental abuse. You know, there's lots of us that have gone through it. Lots of people that are going through it, and it's a horrible thing. But that's why I made this post, because when I saw that, I knew it was all phony. And as time goes on, she'll be, they'll find out that it's just another standard divorce and it's just being made up. But in this world, we have to make sure that we stay fair and balanced and not just listen to one side of the story. Because there are horrible men out there, and trust me, there are some horrible, evil women out there too. And they do some horrible things. Trust me. There's even a group that if a woman gets divorced and the judge gives custody to the husband, or gives 50-50 custody to the husband, and that woman doesn't agree with it, there are groups that will actually help her kidnap her child and hide the child from the husband. There's a group out there. They even tried to put on Hulu, made a documentary of it. I told them I didn't want to see it. That's horrible. It's horrible. Do you know how hard it is for a man to get custody of their child, or how clean you have to be to just get, half custody of their child? So if a judge awards that husband custody, whatever, how much custody they can get, believe me, they are clean. Trust me, they got to be clean. In this world today, a man has to be seriously clean to get, custody. And it just proves how the judge is right, how horrible that woman is. She'll kidnap a child because she doesn't agree with the judgment, and go to this group and they'll help her hide the child. And then the man will never see the child again. There was one documentary, I think on 48 Hours or 2020. A woman did that. Went to Europe, took the man's child when it was like 1 year old or something like that. And she went to Europe, and she finally got caught. But by the time she got caught, the girl was like 19, 20 years old. So, her brain was already washed. It was already set. So they brought her back, North Carolina, the mother, back North Carolina to stand trial. She was found guilty of kidnapping, and they sent her to jail for like 16 months. Slap on the wrist. She taken over 17, 18 years of this child's most important years away from her blood father. And it was so horrible and sad to see, because the father still lived in North Carolina, and the daughter visited him, and she looked at him like a total stranger. And all she said was, "I can't wait till my mom gets out of jail and we can go back and live in Europe with her dad." And she was calling the dad, and the guy in Europe, the woman's boyfriend in Europe, her dad. And she's like, "I don't know this man at all. I don't. There's no feeling or nothing." It was sad to see. That's what happens. And again, that brings me back to this woman who is crying without tears. And instead of, saying that, because like I said, most honest parents, when they see something red down there, something around down there, that is not the first thing that comes to mind. First thing that comes to mind is either the diaper, baby powder, allergic reaction, something like that. Believe me, when something like that, that form of abuse is actually happening, it normally, you know, it's very obvious, and sometimes some people unfortunately get away with it for a little longer because that's not the first thing that comes to a parent's mind, especially a small child. If you're thinking a rash or something like that, but like I said, if you were to watch this woman's post, you would see that she's setting up to get that big check when she divorces. That's what this is. And unfortunately, like I said, for men, once we're accused of something like that, even though we're found innocent, that lingers. That lingers. I remember when I lived in Hawaii, and I got called for jury duty. I never forget it. I got called for jury duty, and what happened was there was a teacher, and he was uh, accused of doing something bad, or of these two girls. They were like 11, 12 years old or something like that. And the attorneys were going through and asking people their questions. And I'll never forget the look on that man's face. His life was already over. You could tell he had already been through it. He'd been through hell already. The trial hasn't even started, but his life was already ruined. And then later on, they brought the girls in. I never forgot it. They brought the little girls in, and they were smirking. That's okay because they're small children. They were smirking, but you know, they were grinning, smirking, and stuff like that. Yeah, you can write it off as children, but long story short, I think he wasn't found guilty. But like I said, his life was already ruined. But even the trial hadn't even started, and his life was already hell. So that's what irks me because on this earth, I just hate seeing the innocent suffer. And this woman posting, who posts about their child? What mother goes right online immediately and tells thousands of people that this is happening to their child? Most mothers, they won't do that. For one, if it's really happening, they'll feel shame and guilt and they'll blame themselves for letting it occur. So they're not going to get online and boast about it. They're going to get their child help, but they're going to feel shame. It's going to be a whole process of healing, if they can ever heal. It won't be just an immediate, let me get on YouTube and put this out there. No, when it really happens, it's mostly the first phase is shame. You know, that's one of the first phases: shame and disgust and anger and just so much emotion. And people don't know what to do. I'm choking up because, like I said, this is a sensitive subject, and I've seen a lot of suffering in this world from seeing other people with a lot of suffering. And trust me, when they get to that point of discovery, they don't blast it out. They don't tell anyone. First thing they do is they go through the legal process, and then they try to heal. And sometimes it takes years or decades before they even tell anyone outside that immediate family. So when you see somebody come online in front of thousands of people and accuse someone of that, you got to be suspect because, like I said, most people that suffer through that thing, they don't broadcast it. The first thing is shame, guilt, self-blame, frustration. They go through so much before they even tell anyone outside their family. Sometimes they don't even tell their immediate family members. They just keep it in that tight circle, you know. And others, if they've witnessed this or been through it, I'm telling them the truth. You don't blast it. You never blast it. Probably there's probably people that suffered right now and to this day haven't told anyone. And then, like I said, when you see something like this is happening, especially to your child or someone you love, you're not going to have a dry face and just tearful emotions. You're going to be wet. You're going to be drowning. Your clothes going to be wet from the tears. And you're just going to break down to where you can't talk. You're not going to be made up and looking pretty and doing this and stuff. No, it's gonna be a basic shutdown. So, and the reason I'm making this because there are a lot of good men out in this earth, on this earth, that truly suffer because of garbage like that. Okay, there are good men out here who get to go through abuse, maltreatment, all kinds of stuff because they know if they take action, their lives will be ruined, and they'll probably never see their children again. And like I said, this woman was lucky because what I'm seeing, this man was rich and she had kids already, and he took them all in as his own family. So the guy's already nice enough to do that thing. And then now that the marriage is going south, she's setting them up. So just be careful who you're with in this world. Like I said, there'll be more life experience that I share with you. I'm 53. I've seen a lot, been through a lot, got a lot of knowledge to share. But I'm a true believer in treat people how you want to be treated. You know, if you're going through a divorce or something, please don't put falsities into children's minds. Please don't make them hate their parents just to get back at that parent. Please don't take them away from the parents that love them, because this world can be cold, and the only people that supposedly supposed to truly love you are your parents. They're supposed to be the ones to fall back on you. So if they have a parent that loves them and wants to be with them and wants to spend time with them, we all do not have a luxury like that. Believe me, I'm telling you from personal experience. We all don't have the luxury where our parents want to be with us and spend time with us and love us. We don't all have that luxury. So if that child is fortunate enough to have a parent that wants to love them and be with them and spend time with them, you should cherish that, and don't abuse that person. Let them be with their child, because one day that child, that little girl, little boy, whomever, but this little girl that we're talking about is 4 years old. One day she might wake up and realize that it was all bogus. And what's going to happen? When she realizes it's all bogus, she might turn against that mother. And then again, she might not. But if she turns against that mother, she's going to go on YouTube and talk about what a piece of garbage and scumbag her mother was for doing that to her, to a stepdad that loved her. He really didn't have to, because she really was not his child. So uh, just be careful in this world. There are wonderful, wonderful people on this earth, but there are awful bad people on this earth. And the sex doesn't matter, be it male or female. We have evil on both sides, but there's good on both sides too. Okay, so you might get this woman's post, you might see her YouTube or whatever. Just, listen to the story, but just take it with a grain of salt. Now, there's a chance that it could be true, but from what from my 53 years of living on this earth, going through good and bad, witnessing, good, all kinds of things, and being a parent of five myself, the story is suspect, very suspect. But thank goodness, in today's world, the laws, things are getting more balanced, and there will be professionals that will actually go through this and see if it's true or not. But once they find out that it's not true, they probably, give her a slap on the wrist in most cases. But luckily, when they found out it's not true, it'll work against her in the divorce court. But like I said, with the message for today, just treat others like you want to be treated. And if you do have to split up, just be honest about it. Because 9 times out of 10, if once you get older, that ex-spouse, you probably get along with them. You'll probably be at peace, and you'll get along. You can get along with them, and you'll find out they'll be one of your best, most trustworthy friends. I found that out personally as well. A lot of people that are divorced, and they've been divorced for a long time. They just didn't get along, but once they're divorced, they become best of friends. You will be shocked and amazed, and it's true. They become best of friends. They share each other's house keys, give each other life insurance, and so forth. I have a granduncle that passed, and his ex-wife left him a lot of money when she passed. He bought 2 nice houses with the money. They were great friends. They just married, couldn't get along, but once they were divorced, best friends. Um, so it happens. Okay, so and don't ruin a child's life. Don't put poison in their mind. But that's it for now, because I'll go on and on. So hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay careful. Be careful out there. Love yourself. Love others. And treat people how you want to be treated. and I'll see you next time.